Welcome back, everyone, to CX Confessions. My name is Christine Reimer, and I lead customer experience and advocacy at SurveyMonkey. And CX Confessions is our chance to have authentic, real, practical conversations with some of the best customer experience leaders that exist. We are in a position at SurveyMonkey to be talking to these amazing CX leaders and get so much value and insight from what they're doing at their organizations that we wanted a chance to share with you. We would love this session to be interactive, so please tell us where you're dialing in from. We love what a global program that's become, and folks are dialing in from all over the world. With me today as my guest, I am so stoked for this conversation. Lupe Gonzalez, the customer experience leader at Headspace, is here with us today. Welcome, Lupe.
Hi, Christine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. Lupe and I have gotten to know each other, and I was like, oh, you have to come on CX Confessions. So why don't we start where, since we were, talking before we kicked off about all of us navigating this pandemic while we're all in the same ocean, same storm, we are in different boats. Right. Where are you dialing in from?
Our offices are in Los Angeles. We're obviously working remotely from home. I'm working out of Santa Monica, California.
Fantastic. So tell me, first of all, let's start with Headspace, and then we'll get into your role. Headspace, an amazing organization, amazing service. Can you tell us a bit about Headspace?
Yeah, I'm lucky to be able to speak on behalf of Headspace and to work for Headspace. Our mission is to improve the health and happiness of the world. Sounds like a grand mission, but that is our North Star in everything that we do on a daily basis. We have an app that teaches you how to meditate and helps you build a meditation practice. We have thousands of hours of meditation content for stress and anxiety, which I think tend to be the most of the time the reasons why people come to a meditation app or Headspace. But we also have a ton of other content around sleep, around focus for children. So we just have thousands and thousands of hours of content that people can choose from to help them build a meditation practice. And we are in multiple languages. A couple of years ago, we launched in German and French, and then the last year we've also launched in Spanish and Portuguese. So now we're in 5 languages in 190 countries, and it feels like it's happened really quickly, but it's been work that we've been doing for the last couple of years, and we're just excited to be able to expand our reach to the people of the world.
I love it. And, I want to get into your role, but since you are an expert at this coming from Headspace, so folks like me who are inconsistent with meditation, I try, but I'm often one of those folks that's mind is drifting and having a hard time being, say, consistent. One, can you just give me headlines of why I should prioritize meditating now more than ever, and just some practical advice of how to get better?
Yeah, I can list 1,000 reasons why people should pick up a meditation practice or a mindfulness practice. But really, currently, as we're all kind of on the same boat right now, where we're navigating these different changes on a daily basis, some of those changes are not necessarily changes where we're evolving into something great. Some of the changes are really terrible things that we're kind of seeing on a daily basis or reading about. So sometimes when that stuff is happening, you almost forget about self-care. You forget about yourself. You forget about your family. You're too narrowly focused on this thing that's happening to our country or the world, or people in general. And it's really easy to just kind of focus on that and forget about yourself sometimes, especially if you're someone who's really empathetic and really cares about humans. And so obviously you're going to kind of gravitate towards, oh my gosh, what can I do? But it's important to always remember yourself. I kind of always joke with my employees that it's totally okay to be selfish sometimes, and it's completely okay for you to want to take care of yourself and for you to take time to reboot, to focus, to get some rest, to get some relaxation. We're all human beings. We're all navigating change. We're all navigating stress. So I think self-care is probably the most important thing during this time. And meditation helps you take care of your mind. I think at this point we're all kind of working out from home, and whether we're watching workout videos on YouTube or whether we have the luxury of having like a Peloton bike or whatnot, we're taking care of our bodies, which is really great, but we also have to take care of our mind, and part of that is sleep and helping cope with stress and developing better habits so that you can just take care of yourself.
Right. Thank you. It is, you're right. I am one of those people that refill my bucket from being active. And so I'm paying attention to that and trying to sleep more. But, the amount these days, and we are giving so much to our employees. We're trying, in this role that you and I have, we're trying to deliver for our customers. We're reading the news and thinking of the macro environment that our employees and our customers are in. And it's hard not to absorb all that negativity and just be just give. And you can't take care of others unless you're refilling your own bucket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, Andy Puddicombe, who's our co-founder and the voice behind the majority of our Headspace sessions and the teacher behind our techniques and our meditation content, he was holding a Q&A of sorts of the company. And so through Zoom, we were kind of, adding our questions for Andy, because here's an opportunity for us to talk about our meditation practice with Andy. And I asked him that exact question, like, as a leader, I'm just forgetting about myself right now. I'm too busy taking care of my employees, my loved ones. Is there any advice? And he just went back to what I already knew. Just continue your practice. And it almost felt like, oh man, I could have asked a better question, because he's already telling me what I already know. But it was nice to get that reminder. And so if Headspace can do that for people, to constantly remind them to take care of their minds, then we've done our job.
Awesome. What a wonderful place to start. Because as you said, as leaders, and I would love to hear, how did you get into this space of thinking about how to deliver a great experience for your members, for your customers?
Well, I've always been, as a leader in general, I've always been very passionate about creating great member experiences, no matter where I've worked. But I do feel that additional responsibility at Headspace. People have this expectation that Headspace should be helpful from top to bottom, no matter what your experience is, whether it's the user experience or the customer support experience. They have this expectation of what Headspace should be. It should be simple, it should be easy, it should be user friendly. And so everything that we do on the member experience team has to match that. It has to match user-friendly flows. We have to be able to be approachable and friendly when interacting with our members. If we incorporated some automated, intelligent flows into the customer support flows for our members, those have to be just as smart and just as engaging and just as empathetic, and they have to match our brand and tone. So it's an easy goal to say, we just have to act like humans. We have to be humans. Even if something is automated, it has to feel personalized. It has to help people feel as though they're being heard and listened to in this moment.
I love it. You hit on so many, there's so much research that the experience, is more important than, say, the traditions of a brand name. And I hear all those values coming through and how you're describing it, the importance of being easy and approachable and human and authentic. So you can just feel the brand come through and has to show up in the experience you deliver.
Absolutely. And that's what the Headspace product is. So we have to be that as well.
Yeah. Love that. So tell me about your journey. How long have you been with Headspace, and what is your current role relative to, has this been your role the whole time?
Yeah. I've been with Headspace for 5.5 years now, which which in our world sometimes feels like 20. But honestly, it's just been such a great experience, and it continues to be. And we're a company that's ever evolving and really moving towards really fantastic things, and just constantly pivoting to make sure that we're taking care of our members. Our member base is their needs and their behaviors change, so we have to be able to keep up with that. So yeah, I mean, I've always overseen our member experience team, but that role, I feel like it evolves every month, every week. It's constantly changing. I think the way that it looks today versus 5 years ago when I started with the company is we're a more mature company. We know our members. We know what their needs are. We know their behaviors. We know what they like. We know what they don't like. So we just have a lot of data now from a behavioral usage perspective, but also from a member experience perspective. We know exactly what our customers mean when they say this one thing. We know how to read between the lines. We understand our members. So we're their biggest advocates. Again, 5 years ago, I think we were building a customer support team. Today, it's really, member advocates and ensuring that we're speaking on behalf of them when we're working with product and maybe speccing out the new design for new features, or if we're working with engineering on finally squashing that bug that's impacting a certain percentage of our member base, or if we're working with marketing and teaming up with them on a social media initiative. It's just really important for us to insert ourselves into that conversation, and we're now part of the conversation, which 5 years ago we weren't, not because we weren't a member-centric company. It's just because 5 years ago, everyone was kind of running in their own silos and trying to get stuff done. So today, we're just really embedded in creating a better experience, also from a product perspective. And that's a really exciting time for us to be able to continue evolving on that as well, especially as Headspace grows and our content expands a bit more.
I love it. I mean, you hit on so many things. The importance of listening, watching the behavior, but also listening to what your members are saying, and then bringing that into your organization. And it is a cross-functional game, right? It's bringing that feedback in and working with engineering and product and design and the data team of how are you continuing constantly on improving the experience you deliver.
Yeah, I think, we all know this as CX leaders. The data team will always have their quantitative data around what they're seeing, how users are using this, or if they're using that, or if they love this. And the marketing team has their own insights, and our engineering team has their own insights, and our product team has their own insights. But our insights on the member experience team in CX is complementary, and if it helps confirm that gut feeling that we really should look into improving that or expanding on that feature that people really love or whatnot, then we're happy to do that. But there's also a lot of qualitative insights that we can provide that maybe hadn't occurred to them, or maybe it was something that they were thinking about for the roadmap late next year, and so maybe we should prioritize and up it because that really makes a difference for engagement or conversion or whatnot. So we're happy to kind of confirm people's gut instincts on that stuff. We're happy to complement data. We just love being a part of the conversation. We always joke that we miss not being in the office because we would corner people in the kitchen, or if we ran into them in the hallway. So we kind of miss that right now, but we're not a shy team either. So we're happy to insert ourselves constantly.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I've heard folks describe that customer experience, that feedback, that sentiment is the why behind the what. That often there's data of we see this behavior, but why are they acting that way? Or to your point, there's gut, there's themes that folks hear maybe from the loudest customers or the subset of customers. And so then you're gathering that feedback at scale to be able to kind of quantify the sentiment of hey, this is a real problem, or for maybe a subset of customers, or maybe for all.
Absolutely. It's really important, I think, for people to collaborate across the organization when making really good decisions, or when we need to pivot priorities. It's just really important to chat with everybody to make sure that we're all on board and that we're all on the same page.
Perfect. All right. So we start the year, and my guess, Lupe, is you had awesome plan, the set of objectives of what you were going to accomplish in 2020. And we don't live that far apart. I'm in Northern California, you're in Southern California. I'm figuring at about March 12th, the wheels came off, and all of a sudden, every employee is working from home, and you are thinking about delivering what is already a great digital experience, but now all of your customers and members are going through this pandemic together. So tell me a bit of, you entered the year with these set of goals, and then how has life changed in the 4 months since we all started, and at least in the United States, obviously in Asia it's been going on for longer, we all were kind of hit with this tsunami of change.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, I'm not even sure I can answer this perfectly, because I still think that we're in the middle of it. But yeah, when we started out the year, and we tend to do our planning late in the year, and then start kind of running that planning early in the year. So late last year, during the holidays, the plan was, okay, we're going to get smarter in 2020. We're going to launch some intelligent AI in order to help provide more instantaneous support to our members, and we're going to spruce that up, and we're going to get that one tool because we need more insights on that one thing, and we're going to work with product and do this, and we're going to work with our international team to take care of that. And so there were all of these kind of big goals that we had set in place, because we didn't have necessarily the resources or the time to take care of them in 2019. So here we were like, here are all the things we want to do. We have all of these great things in place. We have the infrastructure. And we were still in that place in like early February, and then late February. Obviously, if you're just paying attention to the news and you see what's going on, you start realizing, oh man, things are about to shift. And you're right, it was about mid-March, and we all started working from home. But right before we left to work from home, all of the leaders and stakeholders at Headspace just got into a conference room, and we were like, "What? We have to do something. We have to take care of our members during this time." So we had these short-term goals on how to support our members during the pandemic, and then we had longer-term goals. So our short-term goals were to make more stress and anxiety related content available for free, because we knew that the economy was also going to be impacted as a result of COVID-19. So we just knew that it was a good guess to assume that, and so we made more content available for free, and it's still there. It's a category called Weathering the Storm, which is available to everybody. And then we knew we had to make a bigger impact from a social impact perspective as well, because we're a meditation app and we can help, and we need to reach the people that really need it at this time. And so we had initiatives like supporting our healthcare professionals that use Headspace. And so today, Headspace is free for all healthcare professionals in the United States and in the UK. And most recently, we have provided free Headspace for all unemployed people in the United States and in the UK as well. So we know that people need tools right now. We don't assume that meditation is going to fix everything for everybody. We don't claim that Headspace is going to fix you if you're stressed because you're unemployed or because you're working 40-hour shifts at the hospital. It's just a tool to help people take care of themselves, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. So our goals and initiatives have changed in the sense that we have more that we want to do as a company, because we are still on this boat, and we're going to continue being on this boat for the next few months. And so we want to make the biggest impact possible.
I love that. And I thank you for, anytime a business is thinking about how they're going to continue to grow, but of course, to your point, being of service to your members, to your customers, thinking about how to help those who are most in need, the unemployed, the sick, the healthcare workers. So thank you for that. I really, it's, I heard, I was a part of a roundtable earlier today where they just talked about some of the early evidence that I have to fact check. So please, all those watching, I have not fact checked this, but that 20% of Americans said they have changed brands based on ease of use, based on the value of their organizations, and 50% of those expect to stay with those. And so whether it's how an organization shows up and is helpful and demonstrating their values, or making it easy to interact with them. And you hit on that, earlier, of just the importance, because people are taking care of their kids and getting dinner on the table and trying to take care of themselves and get their job done. That if you are an efforted company to interact with, folks just don't have the tolerance or the time.
Even if they want to, even if the intention is there, it doesn't mean they actually have the time. And so, there's a lot that we can do still from a Headspace perspective, where we know we can, and these are obviously things that we plan for the future, helping people be more presently engaged with the product. But Headspace is there. It's easy to pull it up. We have sessions as short as 1 minute. And if that's the one moment that people get, whether it's a parent at the end of the night, or whether it's a healthcare professional that is running from one medical room to another, if all they have is 1 minute, then we hope that we can provide them with that time and that self-care during that 1 minute content.
I love it. So you've talked a little bit about segmenting your customers, grouping your customers, so that, I am assuming, so that you can deliver the content that would be most relevant to them, whether it's age, or it sounds like industry or profession, or tell me a bit about, we in SurveyMonkey are always thinking about helping people gather feedback and sentiment, but then we know how important it is to join that with data about who these customers are and what they care about. So just give me a sense a bit of how at Headspace you think about those customer groups. So to your point, you can start to personalize, anticipate, and deliver the most relevant content.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have an amazing, robust library of content. But as with any product, people will stick to certain things. Spotify, for example, I feel like I'm listening to the same albums all the time, right? And Spotify is like constantly surfacing like new music and like playlists for me, and I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna keep listening to the same old stuff I listen to all the time. So it's human nature to listen to and to gravitate towards what you're familiar. But we do have a ton of content, whether it's for students, it's to help them with focus and productivity, whether it's with folks who are dealing with physical pain, so if they need support with pain management, whether it's parents trying to, parents with their children and managing the day-to-day of being with their kids and homeschooling and getting them to focus or getting them to bed at night and things of that sort. We have content around that. So when we do work with these different groups of customers, from a B2B perspective, for example, we make sure that we highlight that content that we have, that we curate it in some way for them, that we surface it and make sure that they know that it's available, because otherwise the gut instinct is just to go to like the anxiety and stress related content or the sleep content, which is pretty popular for us as well. So it's just a matter of really surfacing the right content for them and recommending that content for them because it's there. But again, unless you've been with Headspace for 4, 5, 6 years, our app has been around for about 8 years. You have not come anywhere near exhausting our content. So again, it's just a matter of highlighting it for them.
I love it. You are totally inspiring me. I'm like, oh, sleep. Oh yeah. It's just, I love, taking care, being patient with your kids who are also going through is insanity. So how do you do that? So, I'm watching the clock and I want to respect your time. We have a few more minutes. One of the things that we talk about in customer experience is there is there's a data element about it, right? To your point about looking at that data and what that feedback, and maybe you have a measurement. But then there's also the emotional side. There's the stories. There's when you're trying to inspire your organization to take action, 36.9% should get to this 96.1 goal. Some people are motivated with those metrics, and then there's others who, might connect more with the emotions and the stories. So as a customer experience leader, how do you weave the telling those data-driven stories with the measurement with connecting folks emotionally to understand, who our customers are and why they matter?
Yeah, it's something that we probably haven't cracked. It's not a perfect process at Headspace. We're a very vocal team in general, though. So we do have a couple of programs in place at the company where we do highlight these needs and these requests and these member pain points as well. So we have a session, for example, a couple of times a month where we bring in folks from marketing, brand, engineering, and product, where we highlight the most recent pain points for our members. Let me show you why it's difficult. Here's a screen grab of it. Let me show you the flow. Here are 4 slides of members talking about why this is such a pain in the butt for them and why they wish this was easier. Here are the numbers. Here are the volume. This is how much volume it's driving for us. This is how much it's costing us. And this is why people are probably not converting as quickly, because this is not working as it should, or whatever it is. So sometimes we design our presentations depending on who our audience is. So when we have everybody, we're like, here's all this information, and here's a quote, and here's a screen grab, and here's everything. But if we were speaking specifically to our product team and they were our core audience as we were presenting this information, we would obviously kind of redesign it from a product perspective so that they understand maybe why that feature needs to be prioritized for a particular fix, or if this experience is less than stellar for folks, why we should prioritize kind of fixing that and streamlining it a bit. So it's an ever evolving thing. I think member feedback is always coming in. We're very lucky as an organization and as a company to constantly get member feedback from our members. So 90+% of the time, it's really positive and impactful feedback. But the 10+ or so percent that is constructive or not so stellar feedback, we really pay attention to that as well. And Headspace is probably the most member-centric company I've ever worked for. And it is taken very seriously. I think in most companies, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, I can see how that is not probably the best experience, but it looks like it's only impacting like 5% of our member base. So we'll see if we can get to that, and it ends up on some backlog. It's not to say that we prioritize everything at Headspace, but we dig into it, we pay attention to it, not just what's driving volume, but how is it impacting our App Store rating? How is it impacting behaviors? Are we really reaching people by doing the right thing here? Or should we really, pay attention more to that and focus on that before we move on to the next thing? So it really generates good conversations across the company to make sure that we're taking care of our members.
I love it. Lupe, I'm so grateful for this conversation. Headspace is so lucky to have you. Headspace members are lucky to have you, because you can just feel and tell how much you care, how, over your 5.5-year journey, you've helped create this environment. And, you hear lots about, the phase we're in right now are highlighting whether a company has what their culture is. Every company has a culture, but that culture and that values, and is it authentic and true? And everything about the stories you tell demonstrate that you guys are thoughtful on taking care of yourselves so you can give back to others and taking care of others in a really challenging time. So not only do I always learn from you, but you inspire me to continue to get better. So thank you, Lupe, so much for taking the time to chat today.
Thank you, Christine. I really appreciate it. Obviously, look up to you as well. And thank you so much. I feel very privileged to have been here to speak with you and to hopefully reach some leaders out there.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. That is it. We are at time. This conversation, I'm literally have so many other questions. But I think we hit on the most important things. And for those of you out there who are figuring out how to take care of their loved ones, take care of their customers, take care of their employees, you know, I think Lupe said it best. You cannot continue to give if you are not refilling your own bucket. And that means both physically and emotionally. So thank you to Headspace for helping us navigate this storm together.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Christine.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us today. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.